Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Last time we went ahead and we learned how to make this print bar function. So this does a little animation of a loading bar, and we took a password input, so we had someone input their password, and then we ran our print bar, and then we outputted their password. What we did not do is we did not verify their password. So today we're going to learn how we can verify someone's password using Python and if statements. This is really simple. This is not really how you would do it in the real world. There's a lot more things going on, but we'll get into that in later videos. The first thing we're going to need to verify a password is an if statement. So we're going to say if something is true, then do this. So if password is equal, we do the double equals sign to say is this equal to. If the password is equal to Matthew, then I want it to do the print bar, and I want it to print that output. And if that's not true, if or else, I want it to print the same thing, but I'm just going to add in a was not accepted. So what am I doing here? I'm saying if password is double equals equal to Matthew, then this is the true case. I want these two things to happen. And so that's why I put these things here. And just like this for loop over here, we need to tab everything over. So we're going to tab over print bar. We're going to tab over this print statement. And if this is not true, if Matthew is not the password we put in, then we want to change it. So let's go ahead and run this and see if it works. Please enter your password. I'm going to do the false case first. So I'm going to say password is my password. It's going to say your password was not accepted. Let's try again. Let's see if the true case is working, and it works. It authenticates, or I should say runs our authentication bar, and then your password Matthew was accepted. That's exactly what we want it to do. Well, what's next? Right now this only works for one password, Matthew. Doesn't take a username, doesn't take anybody else's input, it just takes that one thing. So let's go ahead. I'm going to comment all of this out, and we're going to make this a little bit more robust. And the way we're going to do that is with a list. I'm going to say all passwords is equal to a list. So what is a list in Python? So we've had these variables, we've had string variables, we've had integer variables, floating point variables. Now a list lets us store multiple things under one name. So we're going to store multiple passwords in this variable, all passwords. So the first one is going to be Matthew. The next one is going to be password. And the next one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we can check if any of those passwords is equal to the password input. But how do we do that? How do we check multiple things in a list? First, I want to show you how you can index in a list. So I'm just going to print out our list, all passwords, so we can see what's going on. And as you can see down here, it just prints out Matthew, password, and 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly what's in the list. Now, if I want to access a single thing in the list, we do an index. And Python's a little interesting. Programming generally is just a little weird. You start the index at 0. And so this 0th index would be Matthew, and this would be 1, and then this would be 2. So if I say all passwords, bracket 0 bracket, let's see what it prints. It prints out Matthew, exactly what we want it to. And if I were to say print out 1, it would print out password, and so on. So what we can do is we can actually loop through a list. So I'm going to say for I in all passwords, print I. I want to print out every single password in my list. Matthew, password 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. That's exactly what we want it to do. Now, what is this doing? Earlier we had this for I in range 0 to width. So we've been printing, or we've been using a for loop with a range. We've gone from this spot to this spot. Well, this is really doing the same thing, but instead of doing a number, it's just going through every single element of this list. So it's going through Matthew, password 1, 2, 3, 4. And what can we do? We can say if password is equal to I, print bar authenticating, whoops. And then we can all copy and paste this statement from before. And then we also need to get this user input password. And let's see if this works. So this should accept multiple passwords. I'm going to go ahead and put in 1, 1234. And it worked. Your password 1234 was accepted. What if I do it and I'm wrong? Wrong. It doesn't do anything. It skips right over everything because it looped through and it could tell that that wrong was not a valid password. Okay, so that's pretty good, but I think we can make this a little bit better. What do we want to do next? We want to get a username. So I'm going to create a new list, and this is actually going to be a list of lists. So I'm going to create a list with a username and a password. And so each element in these inside lists are going to be username and password. So my first username is going to be Matthew, and the password is also going to be Matthew. Not very robust. And then our next username, we can make it John. And John's password is going to be password. And then the last is going to be Laura, and her password is going to be 1234. So we want to check first, is this username even in our list of usernames? And then we want to check, okay, if we find their username, then how do we make sure their password is right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to print out every single thing in our user info list. So that way we can see a little bit what's going on. Because remember before, if we loop through all passwords, it prints out Matthew, password 1234. What we're going to see is if we loop through user info, it's going to print out all of this, everything inside the brackets, including the brackets. So it's going to ask me for a password, and then we get Matthew, John, password, Laura, 1234. And so in the same way that we can index all passwords, but like before we did the 0, 1, all those indexes, we can index inside our loop. And so I want to index the username. That's the first element, or I should say the 0th element inside our loop. So I'm going to put in a password, and we get the usernames. So here's what we want to do first, is I want to get a username. I'm going to say username is equal to input. Please enter your username. And I'm going to actually comment this out for now. And then I'm going to say if I0 is equal to username, let's print I0, just to make sure that we're doing everything right. Clear out our terminal. Please enter your username, Matthew, and it prints out the right name. Oh, let's try Bob, or not Bob, Laura, and it works. And let's try John, and it works. Perfect. So it's able to find the username. And now what we want to do is we want to check the password. So we're going to say if I0 is correct, then we want to see if I1 is also correct. So this is I0, and this is going to be I1. That's I0, that's I1, that's I0, that's I1. Is I0 equal to, and this is where we're going to want the password. But one thing we can do is we can put this password inside our if statement. So if the username is right, then we're going to check the password. If the username isn't even right, then why do we even bother checking the password? And if the password is correct, then we're going to copy and paste our print bar from up here. We're going to bring it down here. And then we also, just for fun, we can print your password was accepted. And let's see how this works. Please enter your username, Matthew. Please enter your password. And it goes ahead and it authenticates everything. Let's try with, oh wow, sorry. I did one earlier today with Bob. Laura and her password is 1234. Perfect. I'm actually going to change this. I don't want it to say your password. I want to say welcome username. Great. Let's see. Welcome, John. Perfect. So now what we have is we've built a print bar. We've made a list of all of the user information, their username and their passwords. And then we've gotten the username input, we've checked it against the list, and then we've got the password input, checked it against the list, and then authenticated. But what we want to do is we want to be able to store this and maybe send it somewhere. So if someone, say, was logging in to play a game, if we wanted to make a game in our Python, what we want to do is we want to know that this worked, and so we're going to put this into a function. And I'm going to call this function, we're going to go def, and then I'll say password, or I'll call it login. And everything is going to fit inside of this. I'm going to put the username inside of this. I'll put this user info inside of it. Perfect. And then I want it to return true. So what is this saying? It's going to run this entire function, and if this function, if we get all the way to here, it's going to tell whatever I called this function with true. That true, this person did log in, they are a real customer, a real person. Otherwise, I'm going to return false. And that's just going to say, yeah, look, this person doesn't exist. They're not real. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next thing I want to do is I want to show you guys how we can create an account. So maybe someone's logging in and we only have, these 3 usernames here. We want to be able to have them log in and save their data somewhere. So I'm going to show you how we can save their data on our machine outside of just this Python file, and we can access their data and log them back into our system. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back to the next one.